December 2nd, 23:30, Central Standard Time, Logan County, Arkansas. 20-year retired Navy veteran, political refugee. He's not a political unknown because he's been quite outspoken for the last 6 years. I don't know about those of you out there who are watching and listening right now. And if there's a bad connection, you know that that connection runs deeper than just the internet here. There's a bad connection in the United States right now between the people of these United States and the representatives in every branch of government. You see, I'm not alone in this, and I know this. They know this. What is transpiring across this country at this very moment is, do you feel what I feel? There is an undercurrent in our country at this very moment. And I recognize it. I feel it. And I don't think that I'm the only one here. I think that there's millions of us who feel something coming. You guys feel it, don't you? I believe that I think maybe it's time that we start acknowledging that there's something more in this country that's transpiring. Now, I'm not the most politically connected person, but I know a lot of people. A lot of fucking people. Not just in the United States. I've got contacts all across this world. The UK, Canada, Australia, Mexico. Shit, there's probably people that I know and have known for many years in countries that we'll never talk about. I know people fucking everywhere. I'm probably one of the most connected individuals you'll ever meet. And it's not that I'm trying to brag about how worldly I am, though that it may come across that way. It's been a talent of mine since I was a boy, was networking, meeting people. I just like people. And I connect to people. And I've got a large connection, an extremely large network. There's not really, again, anywhere, I'll tell you this for a fact, there's nowhere in these United States I couldn't go and get a fresh hot in a cot at somebody's home. They'd let me stay in their homes, put me up in their homes, feed me and care for me because I have such a large network. And I think that worries a lot of people. I think that there's those out there who go, this guy's a retired Navy veteran. We took his kids from him. He's exposing a lot of what we're doing. We can't get him to shut up, even though we withhold his children and we threaten him with jail and we drag him through the media when he ran for governor. And none of it's worked. None of it's gotten me to shut up yet. And they fucking hate it. They despise that I bring people together, that I inspire people. They fucking hate it because they don't want us to work together. They don't want this country to work together at all. There are patriots out there that are trying to do the right thing in this country, and they're being punished for it. Right? They're being punished for it. The division of left versus right is propaganda. It's misleading you. You're going down these various paths believing that that particular party is what's best for you and your family. It represents your values, your belief system. It's the closest thing that you can get. And of course, the other color, the red or the blue, they're the enemy because they told you they're the enemy, right? They told us that they're the enemy. Are they your enemy? Have you ever sat down and broken bread with someone from the opposing political party? Have you went to church with them? Have you sang Amazing Grace with them? What have you done to connect with people who politically have a different belief system? There's little white rabbits running around, folks. They're everywhere. Some of them bring good omens, some of those bring bad omens. It depends on the context and the meeting with those white rabbits. True service to this country lies not in raising your right hand and putting on a military uniform as I did for 20 years of my life. True service and patriotism to this nation requires you to examine what is transpiring in this country. And for many of you out there, I'm confronting you with new information and ideas and presentations about complex social issues that you never really considered before, but in a manner that we're finally all beginning to kind of understand together. I'm just a messenger of what actual liberty should look like in this country. And how would you know my message to be true or false, or maybe I have some hidden agenda or motive behind what I'm saying here? I'm not a divine person. I don't consider myself, God's right-hand man. But I do consider myself God's instrument of war. The instrumentation of war goes well beyond that of just physical conflict, right? War is so much more. It is psychological, it's emotional, it's mental, it's financial, it's spiritual. We're at war, folks. And you don't even realize it. This nation is having its children ripped from veterans, ripped from service members, ripped from innocent, unsuspecting citizens every single day. These courts are ripping our children, and they stand and they flaunt their arrogance. They flaunt their power, their immunity. They bask in it, and we allow them to. We stand in fervent awe and fear of these men and women who assert their dominion over the serfs of these United States. They consider your children theirs. They assert parens patria, the Latin phrase of the supreme parent, that the state is the supreme parent. I've live streamed them. You've watched them. You've heard them say it. You've heard the words come out of a judge's mouth. We'll play that clip for you in the coming week. Asserting that he is the supreme parent, the speaker for the state, the representative of the state, that they are in fact the supreme parent, not you. We are at war. Part of that war involves the ignorance of you and your families and your children and your social circles. The war involves you recognizing that if you sit on the sidelines, it's not a matter of if, but when they show up on your doorstep, when they take your children. And in what way will that unfold? Will you sit there and peacefully watch as the state comes in and separates you from your children? Will you say yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, as they tell you that if you don't comply, they're going to take your children from you and you will never see them again? How will you comply? What will you say when it happens to you and your family? Will you stand idly by the way that Americans stood idly by as slaves were tortured and killed and abused in this country? Will you stand idly by as Japanese were rounded up and slammed into internment camps? Will you stand idly by as those that did whenever I went out to Standing Rock, North Dakota, and joined the Native Americans in the Dakota Access Pipeline protest? I did so and did so proudly. It's a badge of honor to honor the treaties, to honor the Constitution. We've been misled to believe that it's no longer honorable to support somebody who believes has a different political belief system than you. You see, my political ideology in many respects doesn't line up with the Native American community. And I knew that going to Standing Rock. But I wasn't there for a political reason. I was there for the reason of humanity, that it was the right thing to do. It was the constitutional thing for me to do to go to Standing Rock, North Dakota. Because they, above anyone else, know exactly what it's like to have their children trafficked away from them. To be told that they're terrible human beings for what they teach their children, for how they discipline their children, for how they love their children. The United States made a perfect example out of the Native American community on just how far we believe the state should have the legal authority to take our kids from us. We're at war, folks, whether or not you want to admit it. And you have to ask yourself, could he be right? Could a serious war be already unfolding before my very eyes and I don't even know it? You don't know what's coming. And many of you, you do know. But you're running from the truth. You're running from what's happening. In a nation where men and women who serve this country can have their children taken from them, and they can bankrupt them and deprive them of their liberties after breaking their own laws, we are living in a lawless nation filled with tyrants that are running unchecked and amok amongst the people. And it's worse in many states, which is really the topic of this conversation. States like Illinois, California, New York. These are what I deem the big three. California, Illinois, and New York. These three states, above any others, are the worst. They are the most terribly ran. They are in the worst positions financially. They are the most liberty deprived. And it's because the Republican parties in these fucking states is chock full of rhinos. Spineless, feckless, paid off fucking altar boys who don't give a shit about the people, and they've got no backbone to do anything about it. They sit on their fucking hands, comfortable in their position with their speaking thrones that they're opposing, they're vocally opposing the authoritarian practices of the Democratic Party. The severe encroachments on many of our rights, our Second Amendment rights, our ability to educate our children, whether to vaccinate our children or not. The state is not the supreme fucking parent. Get it through your thick skulls. If you believe the state is the supreme parent, then take your children down there to CPS and fucking turn them over. But do so with the knowledge of knowing that more children wind up in human trafficking rings out of state custody than any other matter. There are more children that wind up in human trafficking fucking circles that come from each of the states' custody after they've taken these children from their parents. Now, I'm not saying that there's not plenty of cases where they're doing the right thing, where there's children out there that are in broken, fucked up homes that these people need to come in and get them out of, that they're in really bad situations and circumstances. Yeah, plenty of those exist too. The problem I have are the ones that blend in with the good. The problem that I have is the thousands and thousands of ones that were done incorrectly, of the children that never should have been taken, of the parents who were pushed out, who were driven to the brink of insanity. These are the ones I got a fucking problem with. Just as I don't have a problem with good police officers, I got a problem with bad fucking police officers. And then I got a problem with good police officers not saying something about the bad police officers. We got a lot of shit happening, folks. There's a lot of stuff going down. And I know many of you, you're not as deeply involved as what I am. And I get it. You're busy with your lives. You're wrapped up with trying to pay your bills and survive during COVID. You're just trying to make it through. You're just trying to get through. I get it. Hold on. Will you stop it already? My cats. Where was I? Sorry, I've got all these texts pouring into me. I live on this phone. Talking to vast networks of people back and forth across the country. I fully believe that the feds are listening to me. I've had the FBI and the Secret Service. You know anybody else that's had the FBI and the Secret Service at their house within the last 6 months? I would venture to say I'm the only one. Okay? Is that safe to say? Do you know anybody else out there who's had the FBI and the Secret Service at their house in the last 6 months? Now, I'm not in prison. I'm not facing any charges because I haven't done anything wrong. And they know I haven't done anything wrong. But I'm really starting to question, are they doing anything right? Hey, shut the fuck up back there. My cats, they can't get along. Like a damn Democrat and a Republican back here, these two. This one won't leave this one alone. And this one refuses to sit down and have dinner with this one. She elects just to sit there and growl at the other one. We can learn a lot from animals, because we are animals. We're of the animal kingdom, are we not? Let me supersize this show. The problem with full screen mode for me is then I'm going to kick you both out of here. I can't see comments. At one time, my audiences were far larger. Far larger. Wasn't unusual for me to have several hundred people on a live feed at any given time. I do believe that they are shadow banning me. They already deleted my Twitter account. I had over 70, I think 70,000, 77,000 people on my Twitter account. We were reaching, 20 million, 25 million. We were having 25 million impressions per month. For a platform that small, we had tremendous reach. You understand what I'm saying? We had tremendous reach. And I had somebody managing the Twitter for me. Twitter never told me why they took my account down. They never gave me a reason. I've petitioned twice now, maybe 3 times now. At least twice, though, I've petitioned with Twitter to reinstate my account, to give me a reason why they deleted my account. And I've gotten fucking nothing. Nothing. So all kinds of crazy shit, too, happening with Facebook. Steve, you remember when I did that, huh? Yeah. When I was streaming the McGregor fight. What they are doing is fraud. Look, think about it this way. You, the American taxpayer, are paying taxes. One of the largest expenses we have is our military and defense spending. I'm not some rabid liberal nut job who just simply fucking parrots whatever I hear from other liberal nut jobs about the right. And a lot of times they go after this defense spending. Fucking Democrats are no different. You got your war hawks in the Democratic Party. You got those that are over there that are getting their pockets lined by lobbyists for Lockheed Martin and Boeing and all of these other industries. War is big business, folks. Dropping bombs is big business. Kicking in front doors of goat farmers in Afghanistan is big fucking business. There's poppy fields. There's big pharma. This isn't conspiracy theory. Okay? I have had face-to-face discussions and conversations with Marines and soldiers in country in Afghanistan guarding those poppy fields. Don't feed me this bullshit that cannabis, we can't legalize cannabis and take it off the Schedule I substance list and just let people medicate themselves. Meanwhile, we're fucking bringing in probably more opium than all the cartels combined. We are at war. Make no mistake about it, folks. And it's time you start coming to terms with that. Because if you don't, you're going to be sitting up there playing your fucking PlayStation 5 when the shit goes down in your neighborhood. And when you realize that ain't fucking shots off of Call of Duty you're hearing, it's in your now middle class backyard, you're going to remember what the fuck Cash Jackson was talking about. Because that's about what we got coming. When it comes to fruition that Donald Trump's not going to turn over his seat, watch what happens, because they're going to find enough information that they're going to have a firm belief that this election was rigged against the American people. It was rigged against all Americans. You mark my words, if and when they find this, and I hope I'm wrong. I fucking hope that my conspiracy theory is wrong. Call it conspiracy if you want. I'm just calling it a theory, right? It's a theory. I believe that somebody is driving extremely hard for a full-blown socialist state, bordering into communism. I believe this. If you were to go back and read from the 1960s on all of the communists that were shaken out of government and out of the American structure, out of everything, the Department of Transportation, Natural Resources, Agriculture, Art, Medicine. Communists were embedded in every facet of American life. And I don't think we got them all out. I don't think we got all these fuckers out. Because nobody can explain to me why the American Communist Party's website mirrors the progressive agenda. Check it out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go over to the American Communist Party's website. Just Google them up. Go take a look at it. You got nothing to be afraid of, right? You're not breaking any laws by looking at the American Communist Party's website, are you? Why would you be? If you're trying to make sure that we don't have communists taking over this country. Am I a grand conspiracy theorist? I don't know. Could anybody explain to me what I talked about earlier today? Why is it the Constitution taught to our service members? Why aren't they educated on it? This thinking that, well, because they were taught it in high school and they just came out of high school, that argument doesn't hold any water with me. We're giving somebody the responsibility of up to and including deadly force protecting our way of life. You understand what I'm saying? This is no small fucking responsibility to place on any person, much less a young man of 17 or 18 years old. I don't believe we should have anybody under 23, 24, or 25 serving in our military. The average male brain does not fully mature until 25 years old. And take a look at that. We've got 25 heart reacts on this video. Coincidence, I guess. And if you love these young men, we should love them enough to ensure that they are fully developed, fully grown in every way, shape, or form that God intended it, before setting before them a decision that would have them sign away the next 4 to 6 years of their life to government instruction, and the government will, as righteous or as unrighteous as that may be, you're at their mercy. And they should be completely matured to the fullest capacity before they entered into that service. They would have more life experience. They would have more understanding about how our country operates. But if we don't get better about who we are as a people and questioning these states and these education systems, isn't that funny, Steve? Or rent a car. But we can give you a gun and tell you to go into this country and tell you that they are the enemy and shoot them and kill them. Men have long waged war. States have long fought states. But typically, it is those of us. There's a small demographic of people out there, the 34, 35 of you watching. There's a small demographic of you out there that were made for more. You have a greater purpose in life. You're seeking it. You can feel it. It's not just me. I'm not the only one. I know that. I got you, Dave, loud and clear, brother. I got you. They will not, Mr. Jimenez, and they will not get involved because they are political not pundits, but they are lackeys. There's too many of them. Your academy grads, these people that go to these prestigious colleges before joining the military, Princeton, Harvard, Yale, pick some other Ivy League school out there, Stanford. Who are they being taught by? Who are they being indoctrinated by before taking senior leadership positions in the military? They got indoctrinated too. Your senior officers, your senior leadership, many of them, not all, many. And it's reflective in how our military runs and operates. It's like fucking band camp for the Navy. It's a fucking joke. It is a fucking joke. And they don't want veterans like me saying it. They don't want me telling you the truth of the matter. The men and women who are training them are treated like absolute shit. I know. I was one of them. They treat you like shit. Everything you do is wrong. You'll never do anything right as far as they're concerned. You're fighting for your career every single day, working 100 hours a week, 7-hour fucking work days, ungodly work hours, and we did it, right? We took it on the chin. We sucked it up. We did it. We did what needed to be done as instructors within the constraints that they gave us. A recruit couldn't even get raindrops on them without their fucking raincoat on, or they were threatening to end your career because you were putting the recruit at risk. I mean, it is ridiculous how politically correct the fucking military has gotten. And thank God for the Marine Corps. Thank God for the Marine Corps. Holy shit. If it wasn't for the fucking Marines, I don't know who would hold the line on this political correctness nonsense and bullshit in the military. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for the Marine Corps. They give me some fucking hope that things might change within our other branches. But there are so many shitbirds in the military. So many fucking shitbird officers and senior enlisted out there. They're status bootlickers and they toe the fucking line and they have no ability to do some inward reflection and say, you know what, maybe I fucked up. Okay, maybe I got this all wrong. No, they're too prideful. They're too arrogant. They done put on fucking master sergeant, right? They done put on gunnery sergeant. They done put on fucking master chief. And so they're arrogant and they're prideful. They lack the humility to be honest with their troops and themselves to say, we haven't learned the Constitution. My brothers in arms have been fucked over in these family courts and their kids taken from them. I've watched my soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marine veteran brothers and sisters kill themselves at the hands of family courts because they were drugged through the mud with no mercy, incarcerated them over and over, bankrupted them morally, emotionally, murdered them. They murdered them. Family courts murdered these men and women who served this country. Don't tell me that they fucking didn't. They did. This is murder. It's torture. And nobody out there wants to say it for what it is, to just pull the fucking mask off and tell people they are murdering American citizens. Our children, our mothers, our fathers, they're killing them. And we're letting them do it. My boy knows exactly what I'm talking about here. My brother, Philip Banks, knows exactly what it is I'm speaking of. He knows that my words are ringing true. He's fucking lived it. He knows. They sit there and watch you suffer. The senior military leadership watches you suffer. They just don't want you to be a problem for them. Don't cause any fucking waves. Don't make any ripples for the command. Don't bring your bullshit home life, your problems, your family, your children into this. We don't fucking care. If the military didn't issue them to you, we don't give a shit. But they got all these little programs like Fleet and Family Services, and they've got all of these facade programs to convince you, the service member in your family, that everything's going to be okay if shit really hits the fan for you. And they don't. They won't even get involved in civil matters. So go years as a service member without seeing your kids. Struggle every 2 weeks paying your bills, not knowing if your car is going to get repossessed or if you're going to get threatened with contempt charges from the state court like Illinois that set your child support so high that your command gets involved. They're shitting on you in your service. They're not honoring you in your service. They're fucking liars. Call them what they are. They're liars, folks. They are lying to your fucking face. And if you're not angry, you're dead or you're part of it. Stand fast. We got dogs barking. Might be the feds. Well, you guys were just waiting for the shots to ring out, weren't you? That's why you guys hung around. Get you some coffee, Dave, because I might talk for a minute. I don't know. I don't know. Here's what I need from my brothers and my sisters in arms. If anything that I'm saying to you is true, you got to start asking yourself, what's my next step? What is my next move? How do you proceed with your life in this country knowing what you know now? How the likes of Mr. Banks here has been treated after 21 years and 7 months in the military. black man in America. In Chicago, where the likes of Lori Lightfoot and J.B. Pritzker purport to care about the black community. But here you got a black father, just like this white father, destroyed in the family court system. Destroyed by the very same system. And we're led to believe that he's my enemy or I'm his enemy because he's black and from the north and I'm white and from the south. We're not enemies. We're friends. We're brothers. We're countrymen. We're kinsmen. They don't care about us. And it's time we start saying that shit for what it is. Are you fucking kidding me, fellas? Are you kidding me? Your spouse can abandon you. They can take your kids from you. They can bankrupt you. They can label you a deadbeat or an abuser with no evidence whatsoever. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the capacity of love and honor they have for our military. And these courthouses in these counties put up plaques and flags, and they carry on like the good state that they are. They keep up the fucking show. They keep up the facade. But individually, they're kicking you in your face. You're down. They're refusing to allow you to stand up or to get up or to even thrive and be a freedom-loving, liberty-enjoying American in this country. They don't want you to fucking do it. So you got to decide what the fuck you're going to do with the rest of your future. And that of this country. We're all marching down the same path. We're going to the same place. You understand? We've all got a date and a destiny with death. It's coming, whether you like it or not. Might be tonight, might be tomorrow. But on what side of history are you willing to stand on? I already know where I'm going to stand. I'm already standing there. But many of you are sitting up there on that fence and you're still thinking, we can pull this shit together. We can make this work. Folks, they have been at this for decades. Decades. They've been eroding us from the inside out. Nothing makes any sense. You know it doesn't. Say it with me. It doesn't make sense. It's okay to say it. Everything that they've done through COVID, they were already doing to individual citizens inside these family courts. They were already doing it to them. They did it to the natives. They did it to slaves. They continued on. Right into middle-class America. And nobody batted an eyelash. And we just let them do it. It's in the best interest of the children. That's what they kept telling us, right? It's in the best interest of your children to not see you. It's in the best interest of your children to foreclose on your home, to pay for your ex-wife's attorney. They are creating the problems in this country and they know it. All modern social science indicates what is best for our kids. They are taking everything from us. They have rigged the entire system against you. And you got people like this little shitbird attorney, this puppet for the Bar Association, calls himself the road lawyer up in Illinois. He's a fucking shitbird, folks. All he is just a puppet for them. Trying to strike a nerve with men like me. These fucking pussies don't hold a candle to men like me, and they know it. So they hide behind their law degrees and they hide behind their immunity and their connections in their counties. They fucking hide like the cowards that they are. You want to get out and have a debate in the legislative fucking session? Let's have that debate. But the gloves are coming off. The political correctness is fucking over. The First Amendment right will be asserted to the fullest extent. And I don't care whose ears bleed in the progress. Because if what I got to say is going to fucking hurt you, then you're bothered by the truth. You are allergic to the truth. You can't handle, as was said in a famous movie, you can't handle the truth. Where are you at? And what are you going to do about it? You think these last years have been hell? You ain't seen nothing yet. Something way worse is coming. Something way worse is on its way. And if I'm wrong, then so be it. Great. Everybody go. There was that kook Cash Jackson. He thought something bad was coming and nothing did. All right. You got me. Dead to rights. Batshit crazy veteran conspiracy theorist. Don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Who cares? Or maybe I've seen enough to know. Or have a real good inkling that it's going to get bad. Let's just play devil's advocate for a moment. Everything's fine. Everything's going honky-dory. Till it's time to turn over that office. And if they got enough evidence, you mark my words, if they've got enough evidence that shows that this election was rigged, if they find voter fraud amongst these Dominion machines, watch what happens. We're going to be living in a fucking stateless society, and we're going to be split right down the middle. And you're going to have one side supporting that man back there on that fucking poster, and another side supporting Joe Biden. And then you're going to have all of you in the middle sitting on that fucking fence wondering what you ought to be doing. This man is not intended to be our president. We all know it. We know full well bumbling Joe Biden did not win the presidency. There's no, I just bit my fucking tongue. He didn't win the presidency. We know this. We know he didn't. This guy could not string together two coherent sentences. He is suffering, and rightfully so, because the man's a royal piece of shit. He is suffering from dementia. He's got the early stages of dementia. I am recommending to each and every one of you to get your asses involved as rapidly as possible. If you're not involved in politics, you think that what I say is, I don't know, that maybe it resonates with you to any capacity, it is time for you to start joining your local militias. It's time for you to start joining the Libertarian Party. It's time for you to, if you so desire, if you want to go the pathway of joining one of the other parties and trying to change it from the inside out, good fucking luck. You've had great men like Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, Justin Amash, and they're working. We're all more libertarian. We're all more independent, middle of the road. Just leave me the fuck alone, right? I think that's kind of how most of us are. Cash Jackson's going to smoke a little pot. Leave him alone. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you. Facebook won't let me get above 40 people on a feed anymore. Apparently, that's my cutoff. 30 to 40 people. That's my cutoff. I went from hundreds and thousands of viewers to 34. This is what shadow banning looks like. I got posts that are reaching 1 to 3 people, according to Facebook. I'm doing everything that I can and building my platform everywhere that I can to reach more people. Because I need you. Your country does need you. I'm not far left. I'm not far right. Y'all know that. You know this about me. I've got enough history that you guys should know me well enough by now to know who I am and what I'm about. This platform, it's not because I have any interest in being a radio show DJ. I have no interest in being a political pundit like Bill O'Reilly or Tucker Carlson or any of the other ones. There's really important things happening in this country, and many of you, you're not getting it. And we're not bringing ourselves actually together. We are not networking to the degree that we should be, face-to-face interactions, working together. Sitting around debating and talking together and pressing everyone involved on why we're not getting the change that this country needs. It's not. White America, we should be able to walk right up into any town here in Black America, sit down, break bread together, share a beer, and talk about the problems we're facing and get some solutions implemented together rapidly. They have made this 1,000 times harder than what it needs to be. The survival and thriving of man does not need to be made so incredibly difficult. The only reason it's so difficult in every aspect of our lives is because of the massive intrusion of government entities into our personal lives that we have not only allowed, but we asked for it. And your apathy that caused you not to vote, to not get involved, and to not get educated is what allowed it to transpire. So own that. Take your piece of personal responsibility and fucking fix it. That's all I'm saying to you. You don't need to debate with me about who's more wrong or who did it first or last. Just be an adult. That's what we teach our kids. Be an adult. Say it. I haven't been involved. I haven't educated myself. I haven't learned. I haven't taken the time to understand or to listen or to want to learn or to listen. And my kids have seen me do that. And my kids distract themselves with these endless fucking devices that I allow them to live on day in and day out and never have a real true personal relationship with my children. This is a tool to reach you and to deliver a message. That's it. That's all this is. A tool to reach 34 people right now. That's it. If that's what Facebook's going to allow me to have, then fine. I will take the 34 of you any day, every day, over some shitbird out there who wants it all wrapped up in a nice, pretty package for them and delivered on a silver platter with a whole round of political correctness to wash it down. I'll take the people any day that come from the trailer parks, that come from the ghettos, that come from the rural mountains of West Virginia to the desolate deserts of Southwest Texas and New Mexico. Give me those men and women. Those are my people. The people that I come from, they never forget where they come from. They always remember. They wear it as a badge of honor on where they come from. because they come from the most humblest of beginnings. They don't come from privileged white America, as many of you are led to believe. Black America, let me tell you, because nobody else will tell you this. Millions of white Americans are living the same impoverished and difficult lives that you are. Poverty hurts no matter what color you are. And there is a kinship amongst those of us who have understood that struggle and know what it is to live that struggle. We share a kinship. We feel it. We know. You're my brothers and my sisters. You're not my enemies. Your skin color is of no matter to me. And yes, I must say it. Yes, you need to know, where do I stand? Where does Cash Jackson stand on race relations in America? It doesn't need to be this fucking hard. Race relations don't need to be this hard in America. They've made it hard for a reason, to divide us, to keep us apart. We are privileged to live in a nation where we can fight for our rights, and we're better positioned than most to do it. It's not easy doing what I do. I stand in opposition and in utter defiance of the state overreach that stripped me from my kids, with no logical or lawful or legal reason to do what they have done, other than to silence me. And ultimately, that is their goal, to silence me, to snuff me out. That's it. That's their mission. Nothing more, nothing less. Before, I was just another number. I was just another cog in the wheel. Line them up, knock them down. These people are the enemy of you and me and our families. They are our enemies. Domestic enemies, folks. Tyrants. Rulers. We owe them nothing. You understand that? You owe these fuckers nothing. They are not your parents. They are not your lords or your masters. Tell them, fuck you, Your Honor. I don't work for you. You work for me. Fuck you. These are my rights. I'm asserting my rights. You have no right to take my children. My language and my speech is not reason, does not rise to the level of serious endangerment to my children. What's a serious endangerment to my children is you fucking with their heads. Katie Tarbox, I think there's going to be a change in plans on that event. But I would love to have you guys on Christmas. Those of you who count me amongst your friends, if I know you, this is an open invitation to come spend Christmas with me. I was going to do it in Illinois. I even created an event for that. But after some thoughtful consideration and some deep reflection about that choice, I don't think it's in my best interest to do that right now at this very juncture. I think that I'm premature in what it is that I want to do. I want you to join me for Christmas. Katie Tarbox, you and your family are welcome to join Cash Jackson and his family for Christmas. How many of my friends are Native, Hispanic, Filipino, black, white, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, gay, straight? I've got friends from every single background. You see, they haven't been able to impeach my character. That's what they've scrambled and went on and on about, denying me access to my children. They hope that by denying me this access, that like most men, I will wither, I will crumble under the pressure of the loss of grieving my children. That's what they long for. That's what they thirst for, the destruction of their target. How much longer will you allow them to destroy you and your family? At what cost will you finally say enough is enough, I'm going to get involved? That this guy on this screen has been rambling on long enough, for enough years now, about these problems. I'm getting off the fence. You're going to sacrifice. You understand this. You get involved with me and what I do, you're a target. They're coming for you. They're gunning for you. You think it was bad before? It's going to get a lot worse. But the difference is now we stand together. Now we stand side by side. I don't let them fuck with you. You don't let them fuck with me. You see how that works? I take care of you. You take care of me. They're going to come fuck up me and mine. You come protect me and mine. They're going to come fuck you up. I come to you. We defend one another. We stand up for one another. We lock arms. We say enough is enough. It's time men in this country retook their proper fucking role. The role of men in this country is to protect, to provide, to ensure the natural liberties can be lived by all. That all who are peaceful are welcome here on these shores. But those who seek to destroy and to divide and to cause chaos in our country, you're not fucking welcome here. The enemy is at the gates, folks. The problem is, you think they're on the outside of the gates. The enemy is on the inside of the gates. That's where they're at. They're not overseas. Those people don't want to have a damn thing to do with us. They got their own fucking problems. Excuse my language, Katie, if she's young. But this is definitely 12:34 a.m. December 3rd, Central Standard Time. This is definitely adult hour. So just cautioning any young ears out there. There's some young men and women out there that are mature enough to listen to the words that I have to say and whatever words I use to say them. And they have a discerning attitude because they're mature and they were taught well. And I would be fine with them hearing it. I'm fine with my children hearing the words that come out of my mouth. I'm fine with my 13-year-old and 14-year-old hearing the words that I'm saying. Because they know their father. They know how I am with them in person. I'm a protective father. I'm a loving and doting father. I'm a father with expectations who disciplines his children when they defy those expectations. I'm a man who did his best to raise his children to love their country, but to love their family and themselves, and to understand why their rights were so important. It is you 30 some odd people that are privileged enough, not because of me. I'm not saying you're privileged to hear my words. You're privileged that Zuckerberg hasn't fucking zucked you out of being able to tune into my live feeds, because clearly they're censoring the shit out of me. They're shadow banning me. Kevin Bowden, I am not into adopting grown men. But I would love for you to move down to Arkansas and join a militia with me. You damn right. I am, for the first time ever, going to publicly advocate that men and women in this country that believes that this country has far overstepped its bounds, I'm going to encourage you to join your local militia. I'm going to encourage you to start networking and learning and training and getting involved. State militias have a long and proud history in this country, but they have been discounted and downplayed and dismantled in their reputation by the mainstream media. That's to instill a false sense of hopelessness into you. That you and your fellow man, your neighbor, couldn't get the job done. That's what that's for. It's to deter you from linking arms and having these conversations with your fellow man. You have more hope partnering with your neighbor and discussing your issues and your differences and how to settle those disputes amongst yourself without government involvement. You are far better off by doing this and believing in yourself and your ability to find common ground with your fellow man. We'll come together as a country. I don't want it to seem all doom and gloom and hopelessness. The prospect of a better future is simply on the horizon. We just got to paddle together to get to it. If you don't have friends or family in your local militias, join them. Start them right where you're at. Start them right where you're at. Man or woman, I don't care who you are, military experience or no military experience. Doesn't matter to me. Start learning, start growing, start doing. Be a part of the change. I'm reporting as a veteran reporter for the Veteran Liberty Network. We are an independent, nonprofit organization that cares about veterans' rights in this nation. And the most important rights that veterans, or issues that veterans care about in this country, are the rights of us and our families and our ability to exercise those rights. And if we can't do that, then we are not living in a country in which we signed a contract with. A contract was signed, but one party defrauded the other party into believing that they were supporting and defending the Constitution when they weren't. We all must stay strong. We don't have a choice right now. If and when things get worse, and I pray that they don't, I'm not wishing that they do, but if and when they do, I want you to remember some of the words that I've said, whatever you can glean from it. Whatever's garbage, throw it out. As garbage should be done with, throw it out. But if you found some golden nuggets in the knowledge and the wisdom and the things that I've shared and discussed here, hold on tight to it. Keep it. Because the time will come when you need to share that with another. The wolves are at our doors, folks. They're not outside the door. They're inside the door. You got to put them back out. I'll do this for young Tori. Tori, your mom asked me to talk to you. So I'm going to take a personal moment here out of this broadcast to speak directly to you. As a service member who spent 20 years in the military, and I've got many friends who are still in, I trained hundreds of recruits as a recruit division commander, the drill instructors for the Navy. I recruited young men and women into the Navy. I understand the appeal. And so I want you to understand that there are pros and cons to this like anything else. But I believe that some of these cons, if not properly understood, would outweigh the pros. The most important being is that nobody is asking why our military is not teaching our young men and women the Constitution. Why our military isn't standing up as our rights are systemically violated across this country. All service members swear the same oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. When is the last time you ever saw our military say anything of any real relevance on an issue pertaining to our constitutional rights being violated by our legislators? You don't hear it, and you won't hear it, because these people are a part of that swamp. Our military is just as culpable in the crimes against veterans and service members. They know what's been happening to us, and they turned a blind eye to it. They don't care. You need to understand is we did not understand. It is this nationalistic attitude and influence that many of us received, combined with our circumstances in life where we need a job. We have children and we need health care benefits. We've got wives and husbands that we need to help to care for and pay the bills. We want to go to college or school and we just lack the finances or the credit scores to be able to do that without living in a lifetime of debt. And so the military is very lucrative in what it offers to young men and women who come from humble beginnings, that don't have much to go back to. For many of them, this is it. This is their ticket. Just like for me, this was my ticket out. But you're expendable. And they'll say and they'll tell you how much they care and they love you, but they don't. They don't give a shit about you. They don't fucking care. You might be able to hear my dog yapping down below, and I need to go get him. I let him out a minute ago. I gotta go let him in. Karen, I am not saying, and I'm not telling this young lady to not join, but join with the understanding that you're not there to support and defend the Constitution. Know that. Question it. Bring forward the conversation. Hell, do join. Rise up the ranks and change the military into a military that actually teaches the Constitution. Do the right thing. That's what I'm saying. But you got to decide what that is. I'm not going to fault you for joining the military. I'm not mad at you. Just know what you're getting into. You're not going there to support and defend the Constitution against foreign and domestic enemies. Tell me which foreign enemy is threatening our Constitution and has any real chance at doing anything about our Constitution. Which one of them? I agree with Dave. It's the bureaucracy. And there's more to this bureaucracy than just a term that gets tossed around a lot. Bureaucracy. Kind of casts a connotation of just a bunch of bullshit. If you had to put it in blue-collar terms, we would say, you just got to put up with a lot of bullshit just to do your fucking job. There's more to it than that, I'm afraid. In many cases, it's far more sinister in what they're doing with our service members. They're being used and manipulated psychologically, emotionally. They don't own you. They don't own your child. They don't own you. You are your own person every single day you wake up. You got a natural right to make a new choice every single fucking day. I'm glad that these men made it home. We're proud of their military service. But it's time our service members and those entering into it really understood the contract they're getting into. And I feel I've got an obligation to tell them all about it. Tomorrow, or today rather, later today, we're going to be starting a new kind of broadcast. I've brought on an executive producer to assist me in these things, and we're going to begin ramping up production of this show. This show is only the conduit for the other things that I'm doing. That's it. This show isn't really... This isn't all me. I want you guys to know that. That being live and having these discussions, this isn't all of who I am or what I'm doing. This is just an opportunity for me to share it with you and let you make up your own mind on what you're going to do with your life. So many of these shows have no real meaning or value to them. They just endlessly talk on and on about different topics that frankly, nobody gives a shit about. I don't know any person that doesn't give a fuck about children. Like really. Like if children were being hurt, that they really don't care. I don't know. Victoria Belize, I am broadcasting on YouTube at Beyond These Walls podcast. Please go over there and subscribe. I don't know if I can bring it up in this feed. I'll tell you what. It'll be getting broadcasted as soon as we begin producing our shows. And our first kind of go-around is going to go down this morning here in about 7 hours. So I'm going to log off. I'm going to take a nap. Or I might get a cup of coffee and stay up all night and just keep right on working. Because I've always got something going. It is those of you who have these lineages with military service that I really want to talk to and I really want to have an honest conversation with. I really want to spend the time face-to-face interacting and talking about this. I think that it's too important not to. I'm getting really dry and hoarse and my damn dog's raising hell. If we're willing to do this, and I believe that you are, Dave, I'm not saying that you're not. If you're willing to die for your child, and I've heard many parents say this, especially when I ask, what would you do to save your child? Hands down, the most common response is, I would die for my children, or anything. And anything, in my opinion, encompasses death, up to and including death. When you say anything, I have to assume you also mean you're willing to die for your kids as much as the guy who was really direct and said, I will die for my children. So I believe that. And if you're willing to die for your children, what measurable steps are you willing to take to show that good faith that you would die for your kids? Because I don't want you to die. Make no mistake about it, right? If and when we go to war, the object of war is not to fucking die. You understand this? The object of war is not to die. It's to stay alive. And sometimes sides are chosen. Sometimes you got people that float back and forth. They don't know who the fuck they are. Or you got some like myself who I'm not subscribing to any authoritarian figure. No man owns me. I'm not going to pledge my allegiance to a man or a party. My allegiance isn't to a party. My allegiance is to fucking liberty. And seeking and searching out the best place to fight for that. That's my job. I want to be on the side where every person that I'm standing next to doesn't feel as though they're above me or they own me or I need to answer to them and their leadership. I don't like that. I am my own man. I can handle my own affairs. I don't need somebody to do it for me or tell me how to do it. I don't need some fucking legislator crafting some nifty little piece of legislation and then using the executive branch to enforce laws to fucking put me in prison when I didn't hurt anybody. I don't need that in my life. I don't need any more of it. So I'm not jumping on anything super red or super blue. Move to Arkansas. Be my neighbor. Network with me. Stand alongside me. Fight together. Just visit Arkansas. Tell me it's not way better than your state. It's not it might not be the best state, but it's definitely one of the best states in the country. I believe that. More of these people are cut from the same kind of cloth that I am, how I grew up in Louisiana. These are my kinfolk. These are people that I relate to. These are my people. You understand what I'm saying? I've got their back, they got mine. That's how we're going to win. We're not just going to survive in their shitty little fucking set of rules anymore. All right? Are you as tired of that as I am? Just surviving inside these constraints that they've placed upon you and I and our family? Are you as tired of this shit as I am? Because I'm fed up with it. I've had all I can fucking stomach. There is no justice in our justice system. They're all in bed together. You can't get any of them to do anything. It's one gigantic circle jerk of tyrants. Do some research. Look around. See what's out there. Many of you are moving and you're seeking a more permanent home, one that more closely lines up with your values. We can have that here. Y'all realize that? It doesn't take millions of us. We don't need millions. We've got enough of us within this movement, those of us who have suffered and are suffering and know others who have suffered, that we can completely change the political landscape beginning with one state, the state of Arkansas. Start with one state and work our way outward. Right? I've been coming to you guys for years now, driving all over this country. Why don't we start getting some real change implemented and start with one state? Give it a visit. See if you like it. If you don't, go back to your state. I hope that it's better for you. We're coming up on Christmas and a brand new year. Are we going to take all of the shit cycling that we've been through over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years and roll all of that right over into 2021 and just let it continue on for another generation? Or are we going to start doing something about it? I know where I'm going to do, and I know where I stand on things. I hope that you'll stand alongside me and not behind me. I hope that I'm not the solo man standing out front all by his lonesome. That's a scary place to fucking be. But I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it. I'm just asking that you show up with me. That you be there when it all goes down. So that when the history books are written, you can tell your kids, you can tell your grandkids, I was there with Cash Jackson on that day. Whenever that day is going to come, but you can tell them that you were there. You weren't on the sidelines. You weren't in your safe space. You were right there, watching it all go down. My name is Cash Jackson. I'm a retired Navy veteran. I love my country. I hate what's been done to it. I'm fighting to do something about it, using my First Amendment right and my ability to connect to other like-minded Americans in this country. I love my children immensely. I miss them terribly, and I long to have them back in my life. I am an enemy of the state. I am not an enemy of the people. You guys have a wonderful night.